What's up, Devin, in the chat room? Are you still there? What's up, everybody in the chat? I'm sorry, I'm about to go live, but it is only 45 minutes left in Herbie Hancock's birthday. So I had to make sure to send honor and put up a happy birthday post to the great Herbie Hancock. See, we as Black Americans, we have all of these legends and these gods that we don't show reverence to. And as a matter of fact, he just dropped into me. I think tomorrow here on this YouTube channel, I'm going to do some music talking. We're going to talk about Herbie Hancock. And then we're going to flip over to Incense and Ashtrays tomorrow and celebrate Herbie Hancock musically. Because there's no other group of people on earth, not, and with all due respect to my brothers and sisters across the Black and African diaspora, and with respect to my Latinos and Asians and white people who aren't on that bullshit, with respect to y'all. But no one, no group of people on this earth, not one, has an equivalent to Herbie Hancock. This man is still alive, just turned 83 years old today. And there wasn't much of a celebration of him today online. So that's actually what we're going to do tomorrow in this Cincinnati Trace. We're going to celebrate Herbie Hancock and his contribution to music and the advancement of our culture musically. What's up, Kelly Martin? Thank you for going to see. Sometimes I've been thinking I'm going too late, but comments like that, Kelly Martin, is what made me be like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go live. What's up, Boxing First Vlog? Salute to you. McCoy 1303, Seaberry, Positive Influence, Quan, always rocking with a brother. I appreciate y'all. What's up, Bruce? Yeah, so because I was thinking like, because I wanted to go live earlier, but I was in a very interesting Twitter space, you know, and I couldn't leave. And salute to Jess Eve. Jess Eve, follow her on Twitter. Quan, if you know her Twitter, you can put it in the chat room. And her podcast on YouTube, Pick Me Podcast, because she, if you know Eve, Just Eve's the YouTube channel, Quan, or one of my mods, put it up in the chat. Because she always has very interesting discussions on her Twitter Spaces on Wednesday nights, and she puts them up on her YouTube channel. And I value some of the discussions that are had in that room, and that's why I'm having this talk tonight. Is because what's up, Kevin Barry? She didn't record it. Well, what's his name? It was probably downloaded. So if you go to her, go subscribe to Jesse's YouTube channel. I'm sure it'll be uploaded to her YouTube channel. All right. But I'm having this discussion because of something that happened in tonight's. Also, Monique, wait, Monique, is that you? That's it. You got the same book. So you were in the space. Okay, you're okay. Thank you, Quan. Quan just posted Jess Eve's Twitter. But it was a couple things that happened in that Twitter space tonight that made me have this discussion that we're having tonight. You know, resolving differences. And I want to start off by saying that I'm not speaking to you as some nigga that's always known it all. It's just that like I'm happy to age. I'm 41 years old. I turned 42 in June. If I'm so blessed to make it to June, and I thank God. That's why I don't color my beard. I was thinking about putting some coloring in it. You know, I'm only 42, but I got that gray going in. But I've gone through a lot. I've seen a lot, and I'm very grateful and thankful for the wisdom that I've learned from my experiences. You know what I mean? No matter how hard the experience may have been, no matter how much of a struggle, no matter how much I've stressed over these experiences, they've gained wisdom. And so my job is, I'm a king of clubs. I share wisdom that I've gained over the years. And so I'm not coming to you as the nigga that knows it all. I'm coming to you as a nigga that had to learn through fucking up plenty of times. And through those fuck ups, learning wisdom through my fuck ups. You dig what I'm saying? So excuse me if I'm not interacting with the chat. I'm just kind of have like a stream of consciousness that I kind of want to fuck with y'all on, if y'all don't mind. So go ahead and chat away if y'all want to. Just understand I'm probably not looking at your chat. Not because I'm not interested in what you guys are saying, but I just have a stream of consciousness that's flowing through me. And when I get in that flow state, I don't like to be disturbed. So yeah, this is flow state. This is me coming through. This is me channeling through flow state. For those of you who don't know, I was in Just E's Pick Me podcast, and again, salute to her, follow her podcast, and I got there a little late, and we had a discussion, and we were talking about, the whole Luke situation and the whole not Luke, the Freaknik, and the whole Freaknik thing coming out, that documentary that they're talking about on Freaknik. In the meantime, get your tickets to my show. Hey, a lot of y'all ain't buying tickets yet. Buy tickets to my motherfucking show. God damn it. April 29th, Comedy Chateau. Get your goddamn tickets now. Me and Larry Goodwell. Come on now. Stop fucking around. Get them tickets. Well, anyway, flow state. Let's roll. So in the room, we were talking about what's going on with Freaknik and how, it can be used. And we're just having a beautiful discussion on the ways the dominant society can use this documentary to pull up a whole nother Me Too thing on black men. But at the same time, using that as a discussion to be like, you know what? Freaknik was a time. People got ratchet. You know what I mean? At some point, we got to be mature and understand people live different phases of their life. And you got to be accepting of yourself, even your ratchet nature. You know what I mean? If you lived a certain era of your life that was on some ratchet shit, that was on that bullshit, then that is what it is. It's best that you use the game in your life that you learned from that era of your life, whether you were a criminal at one point in your life, whether you were a ratchet at one point in life, or whatever it is you did in your life, be honest about it and take that experience and pass it down to the next generation of wisdom. That's really what we're trying to get at. So while we're trying to get at this high vibrational shit, and excuse me as I light my blunt real quick, hmm, what am I doing? Talking without my blunt being lit. All right, there we go. There we go. Now I'm talking. Now I can talk. I got my blunt, nigga. Um, so in the discussion, first it was some dude that came in. This is the point that I made. I was talking about how like nowadays we try to act like all this ratchet shit just started with us, and we try to act like grandmama was all sanctified and shit. I said some real shit. I was talking to my father-in-law recently, and he was just talking about when 1960 hit. Like my father-in-law was born in 1941, so he talked about this is a conversation that he had. You just talk about how, like, and I've heard this conversation from my grandmother, and I've heard this from other elders too. And they talk about when how 1960 hit. There was the sexual revolution. And you can look up, just Google the term sexual revolution. There are plenty of books written on it. It talks about how in 1960, the culture shifted in America, whereas America was very sexually conservative in the 40s and the 50s. But when you get to the 1960s, the draws just dropped and sex was abundant. Free sex, free sex, free sex. They try to make it seem as if that culminated that was a Woodstock thing of 1969. Look, Woodstock was the culmination of a decade of fucking. All right, they called it rock and roll for a reason. Rock and roll was a term for sex. You dig what I'm saying? Motown became Motown off making music about sex. What it Some of the greatest songs, all of Motown. One of my favorite songs, written by Smokey Robinson, performed by Martha and the Vandellas. Love, love, love makes me do foolish things. Uh, Why, make me call your name each night while holding your picture tight. Martha Reeves was dick drunk. All the Motown songs, My Girl, nothing you can do can make me untrue to my guy. That's because they was fucking. The 60s was all about fucking. That's why the love music was so good. You think that love music was that good and they wasn't fucking in the 60s? Smokey Robinson, danger, fork in the road, beware, danger lies there. Seems like love should be easy to bear, but it's such a heavy load. Worldwide travelers, you ain't gone nowhere until you travel down love's road. That's a poetic way of saying I was fucking that bitch and she broke my heart. 60s was all about fucking. That's why grandmama had a light skinned son and a family full of dark skinned niggas. That's why Uncle Leroy and your granddaddy had two, maybe three different families. I said that to say the world goes round. And there was this brother that took an issue with the app. So he got on the mic and he started saying, "You shouldn't. I heard you saying all that stuff about the women in the 60s, but grandmama, she learned her lesson. And it was all kind of things that made that happen. And you sound like you judging." And y'all know how you emotional niggas get. That's one thing about like being a public speaker like I am myself. And this is game to all of you people out there who ever plan on using your voice publicly in any sort of way. You just have to come to the point in terms of your life where you got to get just if you got to say what you say with the best of intention and know these two things. Sometimes you're gonna say things that you didn't quite mean it that way. That will happen. But most of the time, a lot of times, people just hear what the fuck they hear. You say what you say, people hear what they hear. That's just the long and short of it. Because 98% of the time, when someone disagrees with me, they're saying something I didn't say. And that's how life works. We all listen with our personal biases. And if somebody is saying something that targets a personal bias you either consciously or unconsciously have. You're going to develop a conscious or and most of the time unconscious defense mechanism to whatever they're saying. And that defense mechanism is going to cause you to reframe what they said into a narrative that fits something that's within your frame of reference. And you're going to use that narrative that you created to come back at me and say that that's what I said. That's why if you pay attention to people, the minute people say this, like what people do oftentimes, and this is game for all y'all out there when it comes to rhetoric. When people come back at you like, so are you saying, or it sounds like you said, and then they follow that by something you didn't say. If you want truth in conversation, you can't let the conversation go past that point. Because how can someone build upon a faulty structure? If you or I, me or we, try to build a house and that frame is on sand, what's going to happen to the house? No matter how beautiful the house you built was, if it's built on sand, it's going to falter. We sitting that here in LA right now with all this rain. And check this beautiful, it's still raining in the city. Look at all this rain. Look at this. You see it raining again. We thought we was past the rain. We back raining again. But you know, we see it right now in Southern California with all of these beautiful homes sliding into the ocean off of cliffs. They were built on faulty foundation. Well, language and rhetoric and conversation and working through disagreements is the same way. If you're building your disagreement with someone else based off something they did not say, how can there logically be a conclusion that's agreeable to both sides if the point of discrepancy is built on a misconception or lie? You dig what I'm saying? So you can't build a constructive conversation that's centered around solutions based off of a lie. So when I corrected the brother or tried to correct the brother about his misconception, because I was saying I don't judge. I don't judge what went on in the 60s. No more than I judge the ratchets of today. And let me clear up judgment. When I say I don't judge, what I mean by that is I don't know the answer. All right? I don't. That person is going through some things, and I don't have a heaven or hell to place the next person in. That's what I mean by I don't judge. I'm not trying to act like I'm some old wise ass sage. I just thought about it logically. Okay, I judge a person, right or wrong. Okay, cool. Now, the fuck can I do about it? Not a goddamn thing. People are living their life. I'm living my life. So and that's why I understand it as a cardologer. When I was listening, everybody's playing out their cards. And when I play poker, all I can play is my hand. Sometimes I'm bluffing. Sometimes I actually got them cards. Life is poker. Poker is life. Cards are life. In poker, sometimes you got the hand. But if you play it wrong, no matter how good your hand is, what good is three of a kind if you fold? Sometimes it looks like you ain't got nothing, but if you call, you might get a pair. You might get two pair. You might get a straight, you might get a flush. It comes down to how you play your cards, you did? So I don't know what cards are in your hand when you playing them cards. So how can I properly judge? The only thing I can do is at the end of the card game, at the end of this hand, when you flip your cards in, I can look at it and be like, ooh, that was a good move or that was a bad move. And the good and bad is relative to what my ultimate end goal is. Do you get that? Good and bad is relative to what your ultimate end game is. And my end game might be different than your end game. Matter of fact, your end game may be to the point that I'll never understand your end game because my end game is so different, me and you. So at the end of the day, what the fuck do I get out of judging? Nothing but mental gymnastics and psychic benefits, a circle jerk. It ain't nothing but jacking off. You feel like you nutted, but you still didn't get the pussy. You dig? That's my point of view on judgment. Now, at the same time, I wasn't always that way. I used to be very judgmental. I had to evolve into that. But here's where I do use judgment. Going back to paradox. I don't judge and I judge at the same time. Paradox. Here's where I do use judgment. I judge something as a positive conclusion, a positive outcome, or a negative outcome. I can judge it. Okay, this person does whoopty wham. That's either going to lead to a positive outcome or negative outcome. But still, positive and negative is relative to my position and what my ultimate outcome and what I ultimately want out of an interaction. And what I want is going to be different than what you want. So at the end of the day, why the fuck am I wasting my time judging? So this is something that I made clear. But for some reason, the brother thought that he was saying I was being judgmental. So I kindly stopped and wouldn't let him build because he wanted to build off that lie. So I had to stop him from the lie and say, no, let's make it very clear. I'm not judging. I'm just calling things for what they are. I know conceptually we can want things certain ways. And one thing about us as black people, we are so hell bent on idealism and things being done in an ideal way. Culturally, too many of us have an issue with dealing with things the way they are. And I dealing with dealing with things the way they are. I'm a different kind of spiritual nigga. I'm definitely a spiritual ass nigga who will talk spirituality. I'll talk cardiology. I'll talk all kind of esoteric science. I can go to work with. I can. You put a metaphysicist in front of me. Me and him can have a great conversation. Me, him, or her. I can go spirituality. I can go all that shit. But at the end of the day, I'm a realist. It's all about what's real. It's all about what we're actually dealing with. Let's tell the motherfucking truth. And then from the truth, we can use our spiritual sciences for assistance in solving the problem. That's how I look at spirituality. You still got to get off your rusty ass to solve the problem. But you got to be able to use whatever spiritual system you use to help assist you when you feel like you've done all that you can do. You need that spiritual undergirding that can push you past, push you beyond what you can control in and of yourself. So that's just the way I look at it. So I had this conversation with the dude, and I tried, and I put him in. I checked him and let him know, hey, look, that ain't what it is. This is what it is. And at this point, from here, we can have a conversation. But if we're gonna have this conversation, it's gonna have to be done in honesty. And you may have been confused as to what my intent was. I'm not gonna say you personally lied on me, but I will say you were wrong about your conclusion based off what you said. Let's clear up my intent. So from there, homie went into having a straight up bitch fest and then started talking shit to Eve. Now, mind you, Eve is a woman. What's up with you hoe ass niggas going at women? I don't get it. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? You got an issue with a man. Let's talk man to man. You don't go hard at women and call them bitches and shit, especially when the man is involved. Whatever issue you got, even if you got an issue with a woman, man, you clear that shit through the man that's in front of you, nigga. You don't go around. What kind of whole ass shit is that, man? Going around going hard at women because the woman said something you don't like. Stop that shit. But at the same time, I understand why you do that whole shit. Because we as a black society, we've been poisoned. We gotta, that's nothing we gotta be real about. We're a poisoned people. We have been poisoned. Slavery has a consequence to it. Jim Crow has a consequence to it. All these sissy commercials on TV, the soy in the milk, all that shit got a consequence to it. And the consequence is what we dealing in this, what we call, what DwannBrown calls, the whole ass nigga syndrome. The whole ass nigga syndrome is a combination. The father's been removed from the home, soy in the milk, niggas watching basketball the same way girls used to watch read Sweet Valley High books. Y'all remember back in the 80s, them Ramona Quimby books we used to get? And remember them? My sister used to read a book called Sweet Valley High. Like, it's like in the 80s and the 90s and shit. Well, that's how grown ass men today treat watching basketball. A straight up gossip column. Did you know LeBron James is a good father? Oh, and Damian Leonard, he has a nursery. Oh, and that player, he's nice and he's humble. And just shut the fuck. Watch basketball and go back to your life, nigga. But I understand these things going on in society they have a consequence. And the consequence is a whole bunch of hoe ass niggas that interact and socially behave the way women used to traditionally socially behave. And so even though I cussed the nigga out and clowned the fuck out of him and had some fun, I still was able to understand that, you know what? I still love that nigga, you know what I mean? Because I understand that nigga poison. We poison. We gotta understand that we are poison motherfucking people. But in understanding the poison, we gotta be able to check a motherfucker with the truth, but check him in love. And then from there, have the maturity to say, I'm gonna go my way, you go your way. Because even though I love black people, I don't fuck with most of you niggas. I say most. I don't fuck with most black people. Because we poison like a motherfucker. I'm poison. I'm just a nigga that understood I was poison, so I took the time to suck the poison out. There's a lot of people who still don't know that they're poison. And to those who don't know that they're poison, I'm not gonna sit around and judge you. But at the same time, I ain't gonna spend no time around your ass. You gonna you gonna drain my fucking brain. I ain't got time for you. But at the same time, I love you. And at the time you willing to wake up and you want to learn more, you want to get a little bit deeper into this thing, I'll be there to help you and assist you. But as long as you're willfully stupid and willfully ignorant, you black, I love you because you black, well get the fuck away from me. Cause you being black ain't enough for me to not like your ass. I love you, but I don't. Just because you love people, don't mean just because I love black people, don't mean I like all you niggas. You dig? I don't like most of you niggas. Not the people in the chat room, because y'all on code. I'm talking about most of these niggas. Argue about the dumbest shit. I mean, them niggas will fall on the sword for their favorite entertainer. But when white supremacy's on the carpet, these niggas making excuses or won't say shit. I don't like most of these niggas. But at the same time, I love all of these niggas. You dig where I'm coming from? But part of love is loving yourself enough to distance yourself from bullshit. And that's what I mean by, like, as far as disagreements.
Say what you say to people, listen to what they gotta say. If it don't make sense, just be like, all right, then, and get out their way. Don't argue with a nigga that don't make sense. Matter of fact, I'm the kind of I come from the camp, crack a few jokes in your mind and laugh at it. That's what I do. I laugh at everything. I laugh at everything. Let me look at the chat room. Oh, what's up, Eve? Eve's up in here. What's up, Sinister? I ain't seen you up in this bitch in a minute. Fuck you being nigga. What's up, Dilly Dell? What's up, McCoy? So that's my rant. You know what I mean? I wasn't looking at the chat room. I just had to sort of get that out. Oh, they said Jamie Foxx got a stroke? Oh, shit. Much love and light to Jamie Foxx. Ebony G. Mars, salute to y'all. Much love and light to Jamie Foxx. But Eve, your pygmy podcast, I don't know if you got in here when you got in here, Eve, because I wasn't looking at the chat room. I kind of just had to channel the thought. But I was, again, talking about your chat. Like, I love your podcast, and it always spurs thought. That's why I'm like telling y'all, if y'all see Jesse Eve in the chat room, please, 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 please follow her channel. Because she really does. Matter of fact, I just made her a moderator so y'all can see who she is easier. I don't know why you ain't already been a moderator. What's up, Eloquence? Key? I ain't seen you in a minute either. See, Chris Vesey, and nigga got his whole name. He used to be C Vesey. Now, nigga decided to put his whole first name on his motherfucker. I guess you done stopped running from child support then, nigga. uh, but anyway, I see someone said speedy recovery. From what? Who's hurt? What's up, Shamari? Monique Wade? Salute to y'all. I apologize. Y'all know me when I go on a rant. I don't be looking at the chat room. I just be channeling what's coming through me. Yeah. Yeah, what's up, Vernon? But yeah, that's what it is. We got to understand that we can disagree and not see eye to eye on certain things because we all at different levels in our look. There's a reason why they have a term saying we can't see eye to eye because it's different levels. It's all kind of different heights. I'm 6'2". So most of you niggas, I can't see you. Most of you niggas gonna be in front of me, and I'm be like, I see past you. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? I don't see you. Ooh, where you at? Little short niggas. Niggas, life is light. That's all. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You 5'4". You nose level with my armpits, and so there's different levels of this shit. So. Okay, good. Jamie Foxx is doing better. Good. I did Michael Collier's a radio show today, and he brought up Heavy D. Y'all know I met Heavy D one time in my life, and that was right before he died. Rest in peace, Heavy D. I met him at Jamie Foxx's house. It was a party at Jamie Foxx's house, and it was kind of crazy too. It was kind of I kind of did something a little bit shady. I had this homegirl that I knew that lived in San Diego. And at the time, I was still single. No, I wasn't single, but I wasn't married yet. I wasn't married, you know. And as a matter of fact, this is a few years before I got married. And no, still single. And I had the homegirl lived down in San Diego. And she was gonna come up to kick it. And She came way up from San Diego, and I had gotten a call, and it was like, "Hey man, you want to go to this party at Jamie Foxx's house?" I was like, "Shit, let's roll." I forgot that the homie was coming up from San Diego. She was hella. Me and her wasn't doing nothing like that. She was cool. She wasn't like nobody I was intimate with or nothing like that. I've always been the kind of fella that could be cool with women and just be cool with women. You dig? I like, matter of fact, fellas, a lot of you niggas need to learn how to be cool with women without fucking them. You learn a lot of shit. You get a lot of wisdom that way. Now, I'm not saying don't have your harem of chicks that you do smash. Have other chicks that you don't smash. Always keep a circle of women around, a circle of counsel that you don't have sex with. That's just my recommendation for the fellas. Take it or leave it. But men and women got to go back to being friends. And that's something that I think we miss. Talking about the sexual revolution of the 60s and all that stuff. I think sometime over time, and I don't know when it happened. I don't have a date. I don't have an era. I haven't done any research on it. But at some point in time, men and women stop being friends. And we got to go back to being friends again. We really do. Because it's a lot we can learn from each other. And it's a lot that we can learn about ourselves through one another. So I said that to say I was kind of shady because this is one of the homegirls. And I will say on a scale of 9 to 10, she was a 9.1. And, but I had some more friends that was going to be at this party at Jamie Foxx's house. I had a couple of people text me, a couple of the homegirls text me. Was like, Dwan, you coming? And then not only did I have a couple of the homegirls text me, I knew a lot of people I was gonna need to network with was gonna be at that party. So I was kind of shady, and somebody drove way up from San Diego to kick it, and I was like, my bad, and I went to go kick you with Jamie Foxx, and at the house over there, and I'm glad I did. I don't regret it. I got people I fucks with now to this day that I was at that party with. And I don't, and I've been to a lot of parties. I've been to everybody's party. I've been, you name the house in Hollywood, I've been to it. You name a party in Hollywood, I've been to it, and not and more than twice. And matter of fact, more than a half a dozen, more than a dozen times, often cases. But this is one of the few times in life. Well, yes, I was kind of shady because she was a homegirl. She was good people, but I got more out of where I went. Sitting around the house, chopping up the breeze and doing, kicking it with her, that would have been like whatever. And at that party, I had a whole lot of fun. I made some good business connections, and I met Heavy D. It was a part in the party. Now, mind you, I'm at Jamie Foxx's house, and for all you niggas that's from LA, listen to the end of the story before you judge me. Only you niggas from LA know why I'm saying that. The rest of you niggas is probably like, who? He was at Jamie Foxx's house. People from LA are probably looking at me side eye right now. I'm talking about a party at Jamie Foxx's house. Let me get to the end of the story before you LA niggas judge me, okay? Okay, okay, okay. So it was a party that Jamie Foxx was doing. This was during the NBA lockout, sometime around that time. My memory is a while ago now. And so it was a lot of NBA dudes that came to his house because he had like a charity basketball game and a party. Sean Marion was there. By the time he was on the, I think he was on the Phoenix Suns at the time. Either he was on the Phoenix Suns or that was the year he went to the Dallas Mavericks and the Mavericks won the championship. Excuse my memory. Sometime around there. Sean Marion, I met Barry Bonds there for the first time. First and only time I've ever met Barry Bonds, the greatest baseball player ever. I met a lot of people there that day. And I met Heavy D. And Heavy D, I met him because I walked into one of the rooms, and in one of the rooms, Snoop was there. And Snoop was hotboxing. And there was a lot of weed. I just smelled a whole bunch of weed, and I walked in because I smelled weed. And niggas just was smoking, and that's where I met Heavy D. And me and Heavy D talked for like 10 minutes. And the person I was with was cracking jokes. He was like, hey, Dwan, he's always looked up to you because he's a fat guy like you. Blah, blah, blah. Me and my friends have always been assholes towards one another. But that turned into me and Heavy D having a real ass conversation. And, he talked about, man, Heavy D has so much love in his heart and his energy. Everything about Heavy D's auric field was love. And there was a certain beauty and there was a certain meekness and divinity within that brother. And it's crazy because he was such a great performer, such a great rapper. To say that there was a meekness about him is funny. It's crazy, but it was. And me and Heavy D had we had like a 10-minute moment to where we just got to talk about, you know, being big niggas that can move. Because the person that introduced us, he was, after we got past the jokes, he was talking to Heavy D. We was all talking about how, like, me, well, not now because I'm 41, but back in my 20s and 30s, I was a big nigga that could really move. I still can move. I'm very athletic and agile, but not like I was in my 20s. In my 20s, I'll be 350 pounds, but I'll play basketball 5 hours a day, and I was extremely agile in my 20s, and I was quick. I wasn't fast because too fat to be fast, but I was definitely quick. And so me and Heavy D had like a 10-minute moment over being fat niggas that can move. I can't dance like him, and he couldn't quite play basketball like me. But we shared a bond of being fat niggas that can move. And it was such a beautiful moment. And then a couple weeks later, he died. And yeah, I'm getting choked up. Because I remember being in the 80s, because I was fat my whole life. I wasn't that nigga that was skinny and in shape in high school, then got fat after I had a couple kids, like most of you fat niggas. Fuck you niggas. You niggas actually saw y'all six packs. Fuck y'all. I ain't never seen a six pack. I've been having a keg my whole goddamn life. I went from being baby fat to regular fat, nigga. I went from baby fat to teen fat to adult fat to old nigga fat. So, but like being a fat nigga in the 80s, I always felt a certain kinship to Heavy D. You know what I mean? And being a fat nigga that can move. Because again, I wasn't like most fat niggas. Still ain't. That's why I don't like fat people. Because most fat niggas is just fat and listless and worthless. And they breathe loud for no goddamn reason and shit. I ain't that kind of fat nigga. I'm a fat nigga that move. So Heavy D from elementary school on always had a special place in my heart. So I got to meet the nigga and I had a very, you know, open-hearted conversation with Heavy D, sitting just outside, and I still have never met Snoop Dogg. That was my chance to meet Snoop, but I didn't meet Snoop because I was talking to Heavy D. And then my last memory of Heavy D was right after that conversation. He was in a cobalt blue shirt with these dope ass sunglasses. And we just talked about that shit, man. It was special. And then I saw him walk off. And then I walked the other way. And then I was kind of turned around because Jamie Foxx got a big ass house out in West State Village. And I walked back towards him and he was like, shit, I'm turned around. He was like, me too. Where the bathroom at? And that was the first and last time I saw Heavy D. He died literally a few months later. And man, sometimes they say you don't want to meet your heroes, but sometimes you do want to meet your heroes. And that was a special moment. But I said that to say this. When the sun started going down, when it started getting later, I left Jamie Foxx's house. Because when the sun go down, all kind of shit be going on at Jamie Foxx's house. And I wasn't trying to figure out what it was. All I know is I had that moment with Heavy D. It was still daytime. The basketball was still going on. We was having a good time. But as the sun started going down, the energy started shifting. And I was like, I'm an energy sensitive like a motherfucker. So I felt the energy shifting. And I saw all the ladies leaving. And I was like, okay, if the ladies are leaving, that means it's probably time for me to leave too. And I did. And I wasn't around for whatever else happened that night. Thank God. But I've never met Jamie Foxx. Even that day, I saw Jamie Foxx. I never met him. But I will, if I ever meet that brother, say thank you for providing with me the opportunity to meet one of my fat heroes, Heavy D. Rest in peace. Shamari, I've told the story about being over at Jamie Foxx's house. Look, everybody been look. I've never met Jamie Foxx. I've been around Jamie Foxx, and I'll say this about Jamie Foxx. I know a few dudes that know Jamie Foxx, and they ain't never said nothing bad about him. Everyone that I know that I've met Jamie Foxx, they said that he's been like cool. I don't like have any bad Jamie Foxx stories, like of him being a dickhead or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I ain't heard those stories. I've heard nothing but really positive stories from people who know Jamie Foxx about Jamie Foxx. You know what I mean? But so yeah, get strong, Jamie Foxx, and get better. That's an extremely talented brother right there, Jamie Foxx. Extremely talented. You say you also so what y'all talking about? Well, that's the gist of what I wanted to say as far as settling disagreements. We settle disagreements, come to truth of what the terms are. If someone's something and you don't agree with them, make sure you stick to the topic that you don't agree with. Don't go to ad hominem attacks. You know what I mean? Don't go into how you feel before you go into all your feelings and shit. Get clarity on what somebody said. Break it down. Have a conversation about it. You know what I mean? And then if you from that point can't agree with the next person, don't go around cussing them out like a bitch because you don't agree. In much respect, Eve, don't go around acting like a bitch because you don't agree with somebody. You just don't agree with them. Don't take it personally. We ain't look, people. We ain't. I forgot to cover my barbecue grill up. God damn it! I'm looking at my barbecue. It's raining right now, and I forgot to cover my goddamn grill up. Shit. Anyway, 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 anyway. When you have disagreements with people, just you disagree with an issue. It's I don't. It's not that just because me and you disagree over a particular topic, it don't mean I don't like you. or me and you can't get along, or is something wrong with you. It's just that I see this topic this way, you see it that way. Cool. Next fucking subject. God damn. These niggas be taking it personal when you don't see some shit the way they see it. He said, come to Jesus and be saved. Yeah, come to Jesus, be saved. And he said, repent and believe the gospel. Which gospel? There's a lot of gospels. John 3:16 or Austin 3:16. Uh, what's up, run it up? Establish and respect the rules of disclosure. That's right, McCoy, 1303. Junior Network, you said the comedy hype, they critiqued Tariq for what? What did they say? I didn't see it. So Junior, put me up on game. I heard something about, I heard something Billy Joel said about Tariq, but I don't quite remember what that was because it was stupid. Whatever he said was stupid, so I don't remember what it was. So give me a synopsis. All right, Quan, you be good. You be good, Quan. I'm gonna do some instance and ashtrays tomorrow. We're gonna come back on YouTube tomorrow, and then after YouTube we're gonna go to Mixcloud, and we're gonna talk some Herbie Hancock tomorrow. And I'm gonna break down his greatness first on YouTube, telling you how great he is, how great he was, and then over on Mixcloud, showing you musically how great Herbie Hancock is and was. Oh yeah, about Justin Pearson. Yeah, see, look, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't see the comedy hype, but I do know this. The Justin Pearson incident is polarizing. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm gonna talk about that shit real quick on a deep level. And here's why it's polarizing. Because on one hand, you have a lot of things at play. On one level, you got white supremacy coming together to fire a black person for standing in what they believe in. That's the first level. That's the surface level. So if you look at it on that surface level, why, as a black man, would you say something against another black man who is being mistreated by white people? And if you look at the whole situation on the surface level, that's a valid argument, an extremely valid argument. So I'm gonna start off by saying the people who are questioning why people like Tariq or Brother Black or me or whoever is talking shit about Afro Man, that's the context in which they're coming from. And you got to realize there's a reason why they call it the least common denominator, the most common denominator. It's the reason why they call it the masses. The masses are going to go for the most base level, base. Think about the word base. Base is the floor. Base is the surface. Most people are base level. If most people thought deeper, think about this, black folks. If most black people thought beyond the surface level, we would have figured out and solved white supremacy 300 years ago. Most people, including black people, I know we like to talk about how great and how smart we are, but at the end of the day, we just human. Most people are base level. So when you look at things on that base level, that's an extremely valid argument. People like Tariq, people like Jason Black that are going out talking about the Justin Pearson guy, they're digging deeper than the base. They're going below the surface. They're going into the darkness. And most people don't like dealing with the dark. They stay on the surface. In order for you to go to what Tariq is saying, you got to dig beneath the surface. And beneath the surface is the darkness. And in that darkness gets revealed a person with a lopsided afro possibly being fake. Maybe the afro is just a masquerade. Maybe the pro blackness is just a game. And think about that on a certain level, people. That's how it is for most black people. Most black people who are quote unquote pro black, and I understand that there are people listening to me right now who may love what I'm saying, but I understand that there's an element of people within the sound of my voice and a whole bunch of people who don't hear me who are pro black just because they're not accepted by white. Let me say it again. Most of these pro black niggas, they're only pro black because they're not accepted by white people. Their pro blackness is based in a lack, in a yearning, in a want, in a desire for outside approval. And that's against the laws of nature. You can't demand of somebody what you're unwilling to give yourself or incapable to give yourself. So my point of view of my pro blackness comes out of self love and me wanting the best for us, not my name being Chuck and not giving two fucks about what they think or how they perceive. I understand that's not where most black people are. Hell, that's not where I was in my 20s. In my 20s, I sure did want some white approval. Now, I wasn't going to shuck and jive like these niggas. I wasn't going to do no extra shit. I love being black. I was definitely pro black. But when I was in college, white approval most definitely felt good. I ain't going to lie. It felt good that when I was being in liberal arts classes, that those white women and those white people and my professors agreed with me. That felt good when I was in college. That's where my mind was at that point. And I was still pro black. I never cooned out. But if I could say something that brought everybody together, it felt good. We're all at different points in our evolutionary process. We're all at different points in that process. And when you forgive yourself from where you were to where you are right now, you can be forgiving of others. Now, in again, like I said before, in being forgiven of others, let me make it very clear, in being forgiven of others, don't mean you gotta like what they do. It don't mean you gotta agree with what they do. And it definitely don't mean you gotta be around what they do. I forgive people for being who they are, but stay your coon ass away from me. I don't want to be around you. Your coon, like Eve said earlier in her chat, one bad apple definitely does spoil a bunch. Your coon, this shit might rub off on me. I don't want it. So stay away from me, nigga. But at the same time, I respect it because we are all at different points in our evolutionary process. You know what I mean? Stay the fuck away from me, nigga. But, but, I respect it and I understand. So we got to know that. We gotta know that. We gotta give that grace to our brothers, but at the same time, be willing to check our brothers. Giving grace don't mean not checking a nigga. You still gotta check people. You still gotta put people in a monkey ass place when they step out of line. Cause all this love shit. Let me tell you something about the love vibration, y'all. Love can only exist at the threat of a sword. That's what they say about peace. Peace and love only exists with the threat of violence. If people aren't extremely clear that you will go there, they're going to test your love. So understand that operating in love, operating with an open heart, operating with a deep desire for love and togetherness and compassion, all of that shit comes with you being all the way willing to fuck somebody up. And they got to know that. You got to be with the shits. There is no being loving without being with the shits. Because if you ain't with the shits, people going to test your love. So you got to be all the way with the shits. And once you know that, you will go to whatever cost you need to go to preserve your love, and the people around you understand that you'll go to whatever cost you have to go to preserve your love. At that point, we reach an understanding. See how that works? Be willing and be also willing to fuck somebody up. Hell, I tell people real quick, yeah, you got all that love and light, love and light. I agree with all that love and light shit. But I also, just as much I love and light your ass, I will pull up some dark energy on your motherfucking ass so quick, nigga. And I'm not gonna say too much. But somebody fuck with me, and some shit happen around. I'm not even gonna put it out there. You just gonna look up one day and be like, how that happen? Yeah, all right. I believe in all that shit. I believe in all that. I love Jesus, motherfucker. I love Muhammad. I love all them motherfuckers. And all Jesus and Muhammad will beat your ass if you fuck with their peace. I love Buddha. Buddha will fuck you up, nigga. You fuck with his peace. Shit. I love motherfuckers. But say something twisted to me. And I don't mean physical violence. I don't, it's other ways. Violence is true on all realms. And you can control violence on all realms when you face your own personal dark side and come to terms with it. Once you come to terms with your dark side, you can use it when necessary. Look, God don't create waste. Why the fuck you think you got a dark side, niggas? And if you believe you got this loving light spirit that can spread love to humanity, you better goddamn believe you got a dark spirit that can fuck somebody up that fuck with your peace. Only thing you gotta learn is how to control it. And then what'll happen is somebody listen to this shit and they'll be like, DeWann's a devil worshiper. He's a Luciferian. All right, whatever you call it. Whatever you call it. Just don't fuck with me and my peace. That's all I gotta say. And then we can all stay in love. See how that works? We can disagree. Let's just stay in the vibration of understanding that we just see shit on different levels or from different perspectives. The person at a basketball game sitting in the 100 level seats is going to see the game differently than the person sitting in the 200 level seats versus the 300 level seats. And then if you are in the 100 level seats, are you behind the basket or are you at center court? Are you at three-quarter court? Your positioning in the same game that we all watching plays a part in how you see the game. Remember that. And just because you see it that way and the next person see it from a different way, just understand that maybe they just was in a different position. Maybe you was in section 101, seat 2, and maybe they was in section 219, seat 34. I know y'all saw the same play get run, but because of that person's perspective, and this goes for you immigrants, sometimes, and this goes for us black people when it comes to why we can't, as open-minded as I am, the reason why I'm not as open-minded when it comes to outside groups is when it comes to this particular enemy that we face, we have multiple generations on dealing with them. And we have DNA epigenetic memory on the wins and the losses, what it took to win, what it took to lose. You know what I mean? So have that understanding of history and perspective, the history that goes into what you're looking at and the angle you're looking at it from, and be steadfast and affirmative in the way you see it, and don't argue with another nigga if they see it a different way. And if somebody goes from arguing about the particular subject you're talking about to arguing with you and making it an ad hominem attack on you, then you reserve the right to clown them the fuck back. Talk about them and make them feel real bad about themselves. If they said some bullshit to you, you was living in peace. And here comes somebody talking shit and talking down on you. If somebody starts shit with you, talk about them and they mama. Fuck them. Peace comes at the end of a sword. And people got to be more than willing to know that you will go there. Y'all got it? Did I miss anything? God damn, it's 12:30. I got to be up at 6:45 a.m., at 6 a.m., because I'm going back on Michael Collier's show to crack something. I got to do like 3 minutes of jokes. But I got to be on his show at 6:45 a.m. And it's after 12 a.m. But I said all to say I love y'all, for real. And I got my show coming up here in L.A. Get y'all tickets right now at the Comedy Chateau. Get your tickets right now. Comedy Chateau. Get them. And remember this. There are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. Thank y'all for listening. I mean that shit for real, for real. I'm out.